Hey guys, welcome back to class. We are in Algebra 1/2, lesson 47. We're learning about volume today. Are you ready? Okay, actually I think volume is pretty easy because volume has a formula that never changes and it's a pretty simple formula. But let's kind of talk about how we get that to begin with. So volume measures kind of the depth, oops, sorry, I shook the camera. Volume measures the depth of an object. It measures how much can be put inside of something. We've already talked about area. Area measures how much space a flat surface has, how much is in a flat surface. Volume is not flat. Volume is something like a cube, or, well, this isn't really a cube, it's a box. This is a cube. It measures how much space is inside of that object. So a volume would measure how much space is inside of this particular box, how much I could fit inside of it. So volume has 3 units of measure with it. It has the height of the object, so going up and down, the height. It has the depth of how far back it goes, and it has the width of how far across it goes. So it has 3 units of measure to it. Trying to show you all those sides. So going across, going up and down, and going back. So our units for volume are always what we call cubed. So after I find volume, if my units are in meters, I would write meters cubed. If my units are in inches, I would write inches cubed, because there's 3 units of measure, or 3 aspects of the object that I'm measuring: the height, the width, the depth. So I measure them basically starting with cubes. So if I look at this particular cube that I have here, this is called an Evangel cube, by the way, more specifically. Very, very great witnessing device to tell people about Jesus. So this particular cube, if I were to try to find its volume in just cubes, not in any specific measure like inches or centimeters, if I just wanted to find it in cubes, okay, I could see that I have, for the base, I have 4 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my base, okay? It's 4 cubes. I also have 2 cubes stacked on top. I have 2 cubes towards the bottom. So I have kind of 2 all the way around. That's my dimension. So I have 2 cubes going up, 2 cubes going back, 2 cubes going across. So I have 2 times 2 times 2. That's my unit, okay? 2 times 2 times 2. If I were to multiply that, I would get 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. So my volume should be 8 cubes. 8 cubes, all right? I kind of got ahead of myself with something I said, so I'm trying to backtrack a little bit if you can't tell. All right, so I have 2 cubes across, 2 cubes back, 2 cubes up. So according to that, I should have 8 cubes in my whole cube all together. Let's see. I'm going to open it up. This shows all of our cubes. Oops. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cubes. I was right. All right, so not every object, though, you're going to know all of those measures. Some objects, you're only going to know the base. So like I showed you, if I view this as my base, the base of my object, I can find the area of this base and multiply it by the height of my object to find out the volume of my object, okay? It explains this a little bit better in your book than I've just talked through it. So I want you to look at your book. And let's talk about it using the example in your book, okay? They show you a little cube there in your book, all right? If the edge of this cube is 1 foot long, we say that the cube has a volume of 1 cubic foot. If each of the edges is 1 centimeter long, the volume is 1 cubic centimeter. If each of the edges is 1 mile long, the volume is 1 cubic mile, etc. We use exponents to help us abbreviate the units for volume. So there it's showing you if you have 1 cubic foot, 1 foot cubed, 1 cubic centimeter, 1 centimeter cubed, just like I showed you here. Always your volume or your units for volume are cubed. Well, now I want you to look at the rectangle that it gives you right here, okay? Everybody open up. Got that right there? I wanted to draw it on the board, but I'm really bad at art. So we're gonna look at it in the book. Okay, if we have a rectangular area that measures 4 feet by 2 feet, we say it has an area of 8 square feet, right? We've already done area. That's a piece of cake for you guys. So you know area is length times width. Well, volume is just adding one more dimension. We have our length times our width times our height. We add the dimension of height when it comes to volume. So if you have 1 sugar cube with a volume of 1 cubic foot and you set it on each one of these squares, it can be set on each one of the squares that is shown. Okay, so they show that. So you have a cube set on each one of these squares. So a cube here, a cube here, a cube here, a cube here. So it's no longer flat, now you have cubes. So there your volume is 8 because it's just 1 cube that's been set on each one, so you have 8. But if you stack another cube on there, now your height isn't 1, it's 2. So you multiply that 8 by 2 and you get 16 because your height is now 2. So you multiply that area that you originally had by your height. If you had 3 layers of cubes stacked on top of each other, then your height changes to 3. So your original area of 8, you multiply it by 3 now to get 24. So that gives us our formula for volume. Now, if you're thinking, Miss Ashley, I didn't quite follow everything that you said. That's okay. You're gonna get it as we go along. It will start to click with you. The big thing to understand is the formula. The formula never changes. All you need to do is have the parts of the formula, put it in there, and you'll get your volume. So the formula is the area of the base times the height. Because with volume, what you're doing is you're just finding the area of your base, multiply it by your height. That gives you all 3 dimensions because the area of your base gives you 2 of the dimensions, height gives you the 3rd one. So a smaller way of writing this, instead of writing out volume equals area of base times height, you can write area of the base by saying A sub B. A sub B, because this stands for area, and then the B is base, times height, you can just make that H. So you could write it as volume equals A sub B times H. All right, let's look at some examples from your book. Example 47.1. The rectangle shown is the base of a right solid whose sides are 4 centimeters high. Dimensions are in centimeters. Find the volume of the solid. Okay, so you have a base, and it shows you that your base is 2 and 6. That's your length and width of your base. So I'm going to start by finding the area of my base. So I know that my formula for volume is area of base times the height. The area of my base, I know, is length times width. And according to my problem, the length is 6 and the width is 2, just because we say that our length is our larger number. But you can switch the order, still get the same answer. Area of the base is 12. What's our unit? 12 centimeters squared. Okay, now I'll plug that into my formula for volume. So I have 12 centimeters squared times my height, and my problem tells me that my height is 4. So I have 12 times 4, which is 48. So my volume is 48 centimeters cubed. Pretty simple, right? You guys got this. All right, let's try another one. The two-dimensional drawing, example 47.2, The two-dimensional drawing shows the base of a right solid that is 6 feet high. Find the volume of the solid. Dimensions are in feet. Okay, so here we have a solid. It shows us that the base is not something simple like a square or a rectangle. It is a trapezoid. So remember, to find the area, we have to divide this into a rectangle and a triangle. Find the area of the rectangle and then find the area of the triangle and add their areas together, okay? So let me very quickly draw that on the board. You'll be reminded of why I'm not an artist. Okay. So there's your shape. It tells us this is 6, this is 4, and this whole thing is 10. So we're going to divide this into a rectangle and a triangle. I know that for a rectangle, my area is length times width, so it's just 4 times 6. So my area here is 24. For my triangle, remember the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I have to find my base for this triangle. I know that my height is 6, it's the same as right here. So I'll go ahead and put that into my formula. My base goes from here to here. Well, I know that this part has to be 4. Altogether, it's 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. So my height is 6. Or excuse me, my base is 6. All right, so the area for the triangle is 1/2 times 6, which is 3, times 6, which is 18. So that's 18. Altogether, my area is 24 plus 18, which gives me 42. So the area of my base is 42, and what are my units? Feet squared. Okay, I'm going to plug that into my formula for volume. So volume equals, every time we need to write our formula, area base times height. So volume equals 42 times, our problem tells us that it is 6 feet high, so 42 times 6. So volume equals 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1, 252 feet cubed. Okay? All right, now it's your turn. Pause the video, do your practice, but before you do, just notice it says find the number of 1 centimeter cubes that can be placed in a rectangular box measuring 4 centimeters by 6 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So all you're doing is multiplying your 3 dimensions. Your 4 by your 6 by your 10. And then it's just asking for the cubes, okay? All right, pause your video now. All right, you should be back, ready to go with your answers for letter A, 240 cubes. Letter B, you should have gotten 312 meters cubed. The area of one rectangle there was 20. The area of the other one was, oops, I did that wrong. Excuse me, 1 second. That should be 36. Your total area should be 36. I accidentally did 26. So that changes the answer. 3, 13. Okay, so it's 432 meters cubed. Hopefully I did that right because I was doing that fast. Sorry about that. 432 meters cubed. And letter C should be 70 meters cubed because you had to divide your base into a rectangle and into a triangle. Your rectangle would be 5 times 6 for an area of 30. Your triangle, the height is 5, the base is 2. 5 times 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So 30 plus 5 gives you a total area of 35. Multiply that by the height of 2 and you get 70 meters cubed. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Bye.